We use the word strategy constantly, don't we? You
Yeah.
hear it everywhere.
All the time,
In
yeah.
business, personal goals, just
Mm-hmm.
life. But how often do we really stop and think about what it means? Like, really means?
That's a great question. What is being strategic?
Yes.
Is it about being clever, ruthless, strong?
Or maybe something else entirely. Something,
Decisive.
deeper, timeless.
Exactly. And it's funny, we often think of strategy as this modern business school thing, but the real core ideas, they're ancient. Leadership, conflict, getting things done, it goes way back.
Absolutely. And that's what we're doing today. We're taking a deep dive into three, well, just incredible masterpieces of strategic thought.
A real powerhouse trio.
Right. We've got Sun Tzu's The Art of War, Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince, and Miyamoto Musashi's The Book of Five Rings.
And these aren't just dusty old books. Seriously, they are packed with insights that are, frankly, startlingly relevant for you today.
That's the mission here. We
Yeah.
want to give you a kind of shortcut, get you really informed on these timeless principles.
We've pulled out the key nuggets, connected the dots between, different cultures, different centuries.
And we're going to figure out together what these brilliant minds can tell you about dealing with, well, the messy complexities of right now.
Okay, so where do we start? What's the absolute foundation, according to these thinkers?
It seems to come down to insight, understanding, really knowing the situation. For Sun Tzu, where does that begin?
Ah, Sun Tzu. For him, the absolute cornerstone is foreknowledge.
Foreknowledge. Sounds a bit mystical.
Hey, yeah, but it's not. It's purely about meticulous intelligence gathering. He's obsessed with spies.
Obsessed.
Totally. He details 5 types. Local spies, inward spies like moles, converted spies, doomed spies, the ones you feed bad info, and surviving spies, the ones who bring back the real scoop.
Wow, that's incredibly specific. He talks about needing intimate relations with them, paying them well.
Liberally rewarded, yes, and total secrecy, mouth-to-ear communication.
He even says a general without spies is like a man missing his eyes and ears. So what's the real takeaway for us, beyond just get intel?
It's that strategic blind spots. They're fatal. It's not just about data, it's the quality and the source of that data. Think about it.
Okay.
Are you actively seeking out your inward spies? Those candid feedback channels in your own team or company. Are you actually rewarding people who bring you the uncomfortable truths?
Probably not always.
Sun Tzu basically warns that if you operate without that deep, varied intel market research, competitor moves, internal morale, you're essentially flying blind. You're vulnerable.
That's a really practical way to think about it. Okay, so shifting gears, Machiavelli. He seems less focused on external intel and more on, well, human nature itself.
Oh, absolutely. Machiavelli takes this unflinching, almost brutal look at people.
Brutal how?
He just observes very pragmatically that men are quick to change ruler when they imagine they can improve their lot. People look out for themselves.
Okay, makes sense.
Which leads to his really stark advice. You must either pamper people or destroy them.
Whoa. Pamper or destroy?
Yeah. His reasoning. Harm them just a little and they'll hit back. Harm them seriously and they won't be able to.
So, no half measures.
Exactly. His main point for a ruler or a leader is you must avoid being hated or despised. That's your best protection against conspiracies, against unrest.
So, obviously not literal destruction today, but what's the modern parallel? In business, say?
It's about dealing with problems decisively. Are you letting small frustrations, minor complaints just fester in your team or with your customer?
Ah, I see. Those little things can build up.
Precisely. Machiavelli would say those small, unaddressed grievances breed way more resentment than one clear, maybe even tough decision. Indecision, those half measures, they're often riskier than a bold move.
That makes a lot of sense. Don't let things fester.
Right. And he also talks about judging your advisors, classifying minds into those who get it themselves, those who get it when it's explained, and those who just don't. It's about surrounding yourself with sharp people.
Good counsel is key. Okay, and then there's Musashi. He seems to bring a much broader, more holistic view to perception.
Yes. Musashi's perspective is fascinating. He talks about knowing 10,000 things from one thing.
10,000 things from one. What does that mean?
It's about grasping the underlying principles so deeply that you can adapt to anything. It's understanding beyond just technique.
Okay.
He says, perceive those things which cannot be seen. Pay attention even to trifles. Do nothing which is of no use.
So see the hidden stuff, notice the small details, cut out the fluff. And he also says strategy means gazing at the man's heart.
Exactly. It's about understanding intent, motivation, spirit, not just watching what someone does, but understanding why. It's about deep intuition.
Empathy, almost.
In a strategic sense, yes. And he makes this interesting point about small people needing to understand the spirit of large people and vice versa.
That sounds like ensuring everyone's on the same page, understanding different perspectives within a team or organization.
Precisely. It's vital for cohesion, for anticipating actions, for real alignment.
So we've got the foundation. Deep insight, understanding the terrain, understanding people. What comes next? How do these strategists talk about acting?
Action is key. And for all three, there's a huge emphasis on speed, adaptability, and often using the indirect approach.
Let's start with adaptability. Sun Tzu's water analogy is famous, isn't it?
That's brilliant. Military tactics are like unto water. You know the one. Water flows away from high places, rushes down, avoids the strong, strikes the weak.
Right. Avoid strength, hit weakness.
And the core lesson, just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions.
So rigid plans are out, especially in, say, a volatile market.
Pretty much. True strategy isn't about the perfect plan you stick to no matter what. It's about being able to flow, like water, to adapt, reroute, seize unexpected opportunities. Agility is key.
And this connects to speed, right? Sun Tzu wasn't a fan of long delays.
Not at all. He actually preferred stupid haste over cleverness associated with long delays.
Stupid haste.
He argues, flat out, there is no instance of a country having benefited from prolonged warfare. Get in, get it done, get out. He even suggests a skilled commander doesn't need to raise a second army or refill supply wagons more than twice. Strike fast, strike deep.
Avoid getting bogged down. Avoid that analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
What about Musashi on timing?
Timing is everything for Musashi. He says all the 5 books are chiefly concerned with timing. It's almost spiritual for him.
How so?
He talks about winning with the timing in the void. It's this state of, like, pure intuition where you sense the enemy's rhythm.
And disrupt it.
Exactly. You use a timing they just don't expect. He also uses this analogy of crossing at a ford like a boat captain, knowing the safe passage. You need to discern the enemy's weak point, their vulnerable moment, and strike then.
Seizing that fleeting opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, and Machiavelli. How does he view timing in action, especially when trouble's brewing?
Machiavelli's angle is different, more proactive, based on his reading of the Romans. He admired them because they never put off war when they saw trouble coming.
Why not?
They knew it was inevitable, and waiting just meant the odds would shift against them. He hated leaders who just sort of hoped things would get better. Relax. Time is on your side. He thought that was terrible advice.
So confront problems head on.
Yes, and take a side. He strongly advises it's always better to take sides and fight hard than to stay neutral. Winners, he says, don't want half-hearted friends.
Interesting. So act fast, adapt, don't dither.
Yeah.
But they also all talk about deception, the indirect approach.
Hugely important. Sun Tzu explains you have the direct attack and the indirect attack. Using them together creates an endless series of maneuvers.
The unexpected move.
Right. Attack him where he is unprepared, appear where you are not expected. He tells that amazing story about Tian Tan.
Oh, the flaming oxen.
That's the one. Besieged ties blades to oxen horns, burning rushes to their tails, drives them into the enemy camp at night. Total panic, utter rout, just pure psychological disruption through the unexpected.
An incredible image. Musashi also talks about confusing the enemy, right?
Yeah, he talks about causing loss of balance, attack without warning where they don't expect it. Vary your rhythm, your techniques, make them guess. Here, there, slow, fast.
Keep them off balance.
Exactly. He believed victory is certain when the enemy is caught up in a rhythm which confuses his spirit. Disrupt their thinking.
And Machiavelli kind of sums this up with the fox and the lion.
He does. A ruler needs to be both. Cunning like the fox to recognize traps, strong like the lion to scare off the wolves. You need both craft and force, and you need to know when to use which. Adaptability again.
Okay, so insight, action, adaptability, deception. What about the leader themselves, their character, how they build strength?
This is crucial, and here we see fascinating ideas about internal versus external strength. Machiavelli, for instance, really rails against relying on outside help.
Like mercenaries.
Mercenaries, auxiliaries, troops borrowed from allies. He says they bring slow, belated, unconvincing victories, then sudden, bewildering defeats.
Because their loyalty isn't there.
Exactly. He argues real power needs solid foundations. Good laws and good armed forces, your own forces, people loyal to you. He uses Cesar Borgia ditching French troops for his own as the example of how you gain true respect.
That really rings true today, doesn't it? Building internal strength, relying on your own core team and capabilities.
Absolutely. Sun Tzu touches on this too, but with this interesting blend of discipline and humanity.
How's it so?
It's a paradox. Treat soldiers with humanity first, like your own children, he says.
Regard your soldiers as your children.
Look upon them as your own beloved sons, and they will stand by you even unto death. But also keep them under control with iron discipline.
A careful balance.
And he adds that controversial point. Sometimes a general has to ignore the ruler's commands if the situation on the ground demands it.
Wow. That takes courage. Independent judgment.
It highlights the need for leaders on the ground to make tough calls. It's empathy plus high standards plus the guts to act.
And Musashi, his focus is very inward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Self-mastery.
Completely. For Musashi, the way of the warrior involves this resolute acceptance of death, which sounds grim, but it's about focus and commitment. Mastering strategy is about mastering the world and oneself.
So it's constant training, not just skills, but
Wisdom and spirit, continuous, deliberate practice to become internally strong, disciplined, invincible through self-mastery, not just technique.
which brings us to reputation. And Machiavelli's most infamous idea, better to be feared than loved.
Ah, yes. His reasoning is pretty cynical, actually.
How so?
He argues fear of punishment is just a more reliable motivator than gratitude or love. Men, he says, are less worried about letting down someone who has made himself loved than someone who makes himself feared. Ouch.
A dark view, people. Self-interest rules.
Pretty much. And related to that, he stresses the importance of appearing virtuous, even if you're not always acting that way.
The appearance is key.
Hugely. Seem compassionate, loyal, humane, honest, religious. Because in general, people judge more by appearances than firsthand experience. Perception management, basically.
A stark contrast maybe to Sun Tzu, who brings it back to calculation.
Right. Sun Tzu emphasizes careful planning. The winning general makes many calculations in his temple ere the battle is fought. The loser makes few. It's about thorough preparation, thinking through scenarios. Less about image, more about groundwork.
It's amazing, isn't it? Sun Tzu, Machiavelli, Musashi, different times, different culture.
Worlds apart in many ways.
Yet they keep hitting these same core themes. Sharp observation, being incredibly adaptable, acting decisively.
Yeah, the echoes are undeniable. Knowing your terrain, knowing people, speed, flexibility, building real strength from within, managing how you're perceived.
It makes you realize that these aren't just texts about war or ruling states. They're about leadership, navigating complexity, achieving goals in any field. The insights feel so relevant.
They really are timeless. They force you to think about strategy not just as some grand plan on paper, but as this combination of deep insight and disciplined, sometimes really counterintuitive action.
So, as you've been listening to this deep dive into timeless strategy, what's the one thing that really jumps out at you? Is there an idea here maybe embracing that fluidity of water, or really trying to understand the human heart that might change how you tackle a challenge this week? And maybe think about your own goals. How much of your strategy right now is that kind of conscious, calculated design we've been talking about? And how much is just, reacting to whatever comes up? Definitely something to mull over.